Okay, so setting up for the rear brakes. First of all, make sure you've got all the parts. This is the third time I've had a go at it. You'd think you'd have everything. I bought complete shoe hardware kits and thinking that everything would be in there. But I'm using the 2.5 inch GTHO rear shoes. Now when you buy the hardware kit you get two different size retainers, one for the 2 inch, one for the 2.25, which came out on the GTs, but you don't get the longer one again for the 2.5 inch, so that's a separate purchase. Also, even though it says all the springs come together, you don't get that one. It's the one that goes on there for the spreader bar, and like so. And yeah, so had to get them separate as well. Also, they don't come with these, which is the retainer that goes on here. Now, I didn't have a set. Well, I found these ones. They're probably not exactly the right ones, but they'll fit alright and do the job. Of course, you get plenty of rubbers, no shortage of those, and most of the other parts are there as well. So, what I like to do here is, now you've got right and left hand adjusters. Now, the one with the right hand thread goes in the left hand side, the one with the left hand thread goes in the right hand side. Now, I don't like to put them together dry, because they've got a habit of seizing up. So, I'll just unscrew that. And a little bit of anti-seize. Now, you don't need much. A little bit goes a long way, or a little dab will do, as they used to say in the old Brill cream ads. Just a smidgen on there. Start that in there, like so. Just a little dab on there for good measure. Won't take much. It'll be way more than I need, but anyway. Right there. A little washer, like so. And like so. And just screw it together. Now, I've prepared the other one already. I've already begun putting the left hand side together. This is the one for the right side. And there we go. So, step one, lay out all your parts, make sure you've got everything, and proceed from there. Okay, so I've already put the rear shoe in place. Everybody got their own order of putting these together. This is the way I find the easiest. And put the brake spreader bar in. Put that just sitting in that push rod just sitting in the rubber there. Now we'll try and get the pin in place at the back. Get the shoe sitting in place. Now, a little bit of a lining job here. We've got to get that to go in there. And that to go in there. It all lines up nicely. And for the minute, I just want to get the retainer on. So, oops, wrong way around. And the other time, let it fall off. Okay, let's try that again. Now, that in there. Handbrake spreader on. Now the top will pull together when I put the top springs on. So we'll sit that there. The spring. Now, it can be a challenge sometimes getting these little suckers on. Sometimes they go on easy and sometimes not. For once, we've had a win. Now, that'll go up there, and that'll go up there like that. And we'll put that on there like that. And yeah, we want put that through there like that, and that through there like that. We'll do a bit of a balancing act before we get too carried away. Put the automatic adjuster cable over the top of that, because once it's locked in place, half the time you can't get it in there. Yeah, that there. Now I highly recommend a set of brake pliers. Make life a whole lot easier with their various little attachments. For example, rather than fighting with this, you should be able to just go like that. And, well, the spring's on even if the cable popped out. But, lucky in this case, it'll fit over, so that's okay. Now, that's one side. Now we want the other side. Okay, so green on the front, up to there. And same thing with these pliers. Oops, over there. And into place. And just roll it around hopefully. Any other day. Okay, so it's going to be one of those days, apparently. Wind that up again. Okay, make sure we've got that in place. And we'll try that again. In there, over there, hook it on, into place. Into place is easy. Now we've just got to get the spanner out, which is being rather problematic. Normally it comes out easy, and there we have it. All nice and tidy. Okay, now we need this, which hooks in down here, and that cable onto there. Also going to put the tensioner in. Sometimes it'd be handy to have a lot more hands. We'll see what we can do. There. that to there, that onto there. That goes through that hole there. And trying to do this while holding the tensioner in place, the adjuster in place. And now what we've got to do now, put that into there and hook that into the adjuster, which looks like it's going to be a challenge. Okay, so there we have it. The automatic adjuster's in place. We'll turn the adjuster on brake movement. Screws are all in the middle. And we can put the nice big heavy drum on. Like so. And then adjust away to our heart's content. Now, quite often I'll get the adjuster close by hand. Save a lot of farting around from behind. Through a little slot in the back of the shoe. That's about it, I think. I may have gone just a little bit too far. Now, easy enough to fix, just hold the adjuster out and wind in a little. And there we go. Okay, so just the rubber grommet in the back. Which should be straightforward to put in. Not always, because there's a whopping great spring retainer behind it, but there we go. And very nice. Okay, so this side, the right hand side, just a mirror image of the left hand one. And we'll start off by putting the rear shoe in first, just because it's the hardest with the handbrake attached to it. Now, my way for getting these in is to use a little pair of vice grips. You can get up there, push the spring along a little, usually, which doesn't need much, but just hold that spring back a little bit. Makes it much easier to put the shoe on. And we don't need a lot of room, just so we're not having to fight with it. Now I've already put the handbrake arms on, which they don't come in any of the brake kits either, so if you can reuse it if it's off, if you've got existing ones, or if you're like me, we're building them from scratch, you've got to find them from somewhere. Now, that simply goes through there like that. Once you get into place, pop the vice grips off, and the spring will mostly hold it into place. Okay, so zip that up in there, put that on the shoe. Now, the fun part is getting this first retainer in, because the handbrake arm tends to get in the way a little bit, because we haven't adjusted the handbrake up yet. It's not pulling on the arm, on the cable, which lets the arm come back just that little bit too far. and makes it all a bit tight. And now I've got that pin on a bit of an angle, which will straighten out once I get it together, but at the moment it makes it problematic to get the spring on. Yeah. As I said, because it's on a bit of an angle, it makes it a bit harder, but there we go. Now we can push the chute up where it needs to be, like so, and proceed as we did on the other side. So we'll put the handbrake spreader bar in place. Spring goes to the front on those. Then we'll get the other shoe and we can push it into the rubber that should help hold it. Line that up. A bit of fun trying to line up everything at once. Some people assemble these backing plates on the bench, which could be easier, but you've got to have the axle out to do it. So if you happen to have the axle out, that's great. But it's certainly not worth pulling the axle out just to do it. Yeah. And that up, and that up. And sometimes an extra hand sprouting at the centre of your chest would be great. The little stuff just won't quite stay in place for you when you want it to. Now, get that to go there, back up in place. It's lined up. Spring on. And there, like so. As usual, it doesn't quite want to line up. This time I've got the shoe on a little bit of an awkward angle, which is put the pin out. There we go. That's on. Knock that down into place like so. Okay. Now, we'll discover we can do that and that. Put our self-adjusting cable on there. Now put that through like so. Usual deal, not enough hands. And we've got my trusty brake pliers. Put the first one on. Hopefully it all goes according to plan, which it really does. Boom, boom, like that. Okay, push that in a little. And we can put the other side in. Hopefully. Same one I had the drum with on the other side. That holds it all together. And that's how it's supposed to go. Nice and easy. Okay. Now for the part where I need 4 hands again. Set the adjuster in place. And you can wind it out a little bit if you want to, but also means you've got to stretch the spring further too. So went in one way, was in another. There you go. I made a mistake. I get to take this back off again because I forgot to put the other retainer on to hold the shoe on first. So one off. Two off. See, didn't I say it was a good little tool? Okay, now try again. Put that on first. Then that. Then the yellow spring. So. And the green spring. Now it's important to get the right spring in the right end. Not interchangeable. And there we go. That's how it's supposed to work the first time. Okay. Now see if we can put the self-adjuster in place. And it's a challenge. Put it there. And there you go. See? The adjuster falls out on the floor. Alright, try that again. Put the adjuster in there. Like so. Try and push it together, but they invariably won't stay there until it gets the bottom spring in place. Anyway, so that goes through there, over that guide. That hooks in a hole in that spring there. Now I've just got to get the bottom spring on. Okay, and through the bottom hole with that. Up. Now these fancy pliers are, when they work good, they work good. Unfortunately I can't get a photo in here, or a video, but they allow you to guide the spring fairly well by doing that with next to no damage to the shoe. If you have to, the point will dig into the shoe, but anyway, that's on there, that's all in place. Okay, all lined up nicely. There we go. Alright, so now time to put the drums back on. And again, I suspect we'll have to a fair bit of room there. Yep, so we'll just wind the adjuster out again. A little bit more. And there we go, all nice in place. A little bung in the adjuster at the back. We'll adjust that up later on after we've Had a chance to put some brake fluid through it and push all the brakes exactly into a line where they're supposed to be. No doubt they'll be sitting slightly off until they've had an application or two. Okay, rubber bungs in place, and that's how it's done.